James Michael Mulligan. Isn't that the perfect name for an Irish Catholic kid growing up in Boston? Our question is whether Jim was blessed with the luck of the Irish.
I'll be the judge of that.
Jim's father, Patrick Joseph Mulligan, was a true Irishman. Born in Ireland, he immigrated to Boston at a young age. He met Jim's mother, Louise Eleanor Griffith, while performing carpentry on her sorority house. However, Louise's father was so opposed to her marrying an Irish immigrant that they had to elope to Ireland to get married. They moved back to Boston and at the end of World War II started raising a big, beautiful Irish Catholic family. Of course, young Jim went to Catholic school. There he encountered the fierce Sisters of St. Joseph. The nuns were strict and rigid. Talk out a turn and you got whacked on the back of your head or on your knuckles with a wooden ruler.
Ow!
The nuns also generously corrected Jim's natural-born disability of being a left-hander by forcing him to become right-handed. Looking back on his early education, Jim would say that the rigor enforced by the nuns prepared him for law school, including a certain professor after whom this award is named. In those days, Jim hung around with his best friends, Snake, Smitty, and Bobby. One day, they got the bright idea to play William Tell. Unfortunately, Jim was not the one holding the bow and arrow. Rather, he was the one on whose head the apple was perched. Snake let the arrow fly. A perfect hit. Right in Jim's eye.
Doesn't sound like the luck of the Irish.
Follow me, boys, follow me.
Jim had an early and continuing interest in scouting. He started with the Cub Scouts, moved up to Webelos, then to Boy Scouts. His father was the scoutmaster. In high school, Jim's memories include being elected, along with his girlfriend, King and Queen of the Prom. After high school, Jim attended the University of Massachusetts. He initially studied electrical engineering, which was not to his liking. During his sophomore year, Jim's father unexpectedly died from a heart attack, and Jim took a leave of absence from college. He got a job as a crew chief for an outdoor surveying team. This position was a precursor of his lifelong love of the outdoors and real estate. With this in mind, Jim returned to college and changed his major to comparative literature and journalism. Jim joined the fraternity Alpha Sigma Phi, quickly moving up to the role of president. As luck would have it, Jim's leadership position led to his first job out of college as the national field rep for his fraternity.
The luck of the Irish.
Following this charmed path, Jim's job brought him to the University of Denver, where he met with Vice Chancellor John Blackburn, who was the national president at the time. Chancellor Blackburn challenged Jim to go to law school, and they made a deal. If Jim could get admitted to law school, Blackburn would find him a job on campus to help cover expenses. Jim indeed got accepted, and he got the promised job as well. Resident manager of the two new high-rise residential towers on campus, Centennial Halls and Centennial Towers. Jim's job as resident manager included keeping the boys away from the girls. In one of his first incidents, Jim had a run-in with a man who was trying to sneak onto the female floor. That man happened to be singer James Taylor, who promptly treated Jim to a mini concert to avoid punishment.
Jimmy Taylor, a fine Boston boy, don't you know?
In Jim's second year of law school, he got a job with a regional real estate development company working on residential contract and closing management duties. After law school, Jim took the bold move and hung out his own shingle. James M. Mulligan, P.C., attorney at law, opened its doors in 1975. By 1981, it had grown to 15 attorneys. Jim's contacts in the real estate industry blossomed into clients for his new firm. Next, Jim merged his firm into Mayer, Platt & Brown, a Chicago-based firm with an office in Denver. During this time, he experienced one of his luckiest moments when his daughter Megan was born. As a young father, Jim learned to balance family priorities with work, including finding time to coach his daughter's soccer team. Jim's years with Mayor Platt and Brown were during the tumultuous 80s, when real estate booms and busts were happening regularly. But his luck held out. Mayor Platt was a major international firm that could survive the market's ups and downs. When they decided to close their Denver office, Jim stayed because Denver's burgeoning real estate scene was just too strong a draw. Jim later practiced with Fairfield and Woods, Snell and Wilmer, and is now at Hush Blackwell. In 1995, Jim hit the lucky jackpot when he met Joni Burleson. As the story goes, a friend was constantly trying to fix him up with a woman, but Jim kept putting him off. One day, Jim and this friend were at an event at the Wine Coop Brewery when a very attractive woman wearing a blue dress walked by and said hello. Jim turned to his friend and said, "Wow, who was that?" To which his friend replied, "You idiot! That's the woman I've been trying to fix you up with for the past year."
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Jim and Joni quickly hit it off, and soon it was time to meet the families. Joni's interview with Jim's mom was a tough one, an independent outdoors woman from Alaska meeting a proper Bostonian. But it was nothing like Jim's experience with Joni's family. Joni's brother met Jim at the door with a shotgun over his shoulder, asking what Jim's intentions were with his baby sister. Realizing that getting their families on board might be tough, they eloped in 1997 to Hawaii. They returned there every year to celebrate and renew their marriage.
Early on, we went up to my cabin at 11,000 feet, and Jim proceeded to get his Jeep stuck. And after he worried with it a little while, I got in and I drove the Jeep out. And after that, he was a goner. I was a goner once I realized that what a generous soul he has. He's compassionate and he's honest and he truly loves people. Everywhere we go, people come up to us and say hi, they want to talk, and catch up with him. Often, we'll know the waitresses' kids' names before we leave any given restaurant. He's just that kind of guy. He loves people and that comes through.
When not working, Jim can be found in the outdoors, hiking, traveling with Joni, or bicycling. And, of course, playing golf. With a name like that, he gets an unlimited number of mulligans.
Mulligan spells Mulligan.
Throughout the course of his 40-year real estate career in Denver, Jim has had a hand in virtually every major construction project and building in this city.
I first met Jim Mulligan when he was a young, hotshot lawyer, taking clients out to lunch every day and hustling for business and spending a lot of money. But near that time in his life, he said, you know, this community's been pretty good to me, and I need to find some place where I can give back. I look upon him as one of the most reliable business people we have when it comes to stepping up when a civic challenge or opportunity arises.
Whether representing a lender, owner, developer, or major tenant, Jim's fingerprints are on practically every landmark in town.
You know, Jim, and if you're in the development business, he's been everywhere for 4 decades. And I've been around more decades than that. And the thing about it is he's such a cheerful presence. And I like him a lot because he likes to give hugs. And I like hugs.
But Jim's real contribution has been in his public service and civic engagement.
Listen, having been the governor of Colorado, I really have a sense for the ways that Jim Mulligan contributes to the Denver community and, more importantly, the Colorado community. He's certainly one of the best real estate lawyers in town, but he also understands the tie between real estate and economic development, and that's something governors care a great deal about. When Jim was able to do a real estate deal that would impact our economy in a positive way, you knew you could trust the deal, and you knew that it was going to be a good thing for the state, good thing for the city.
We'd like to name all of the organizations he has impacted, but that would not allow us to be out by 9. Whether serving as an assistant scoutmaster or coaching his daughter's soccer team, Jim has always valued the importance of mentoring. Jim was instrumental in working with Mike Massey to develop the Sturm College of Law Professional Mentor Program.
Jim and I met to discuss the mentoring program, and Jim just got it immediately and went back to the Law Alumni Council and recruited lots and lots of mentors for our program. Jim really got us over the hump from being a small single class mentoring program to the professional mentoring program that we know today. It was really, really thanks to Jim.
Jim's devotion as an alumnus of the Sturm College of Law is unquestioned. He has served on the Alumni Council, during which he collaborated in the development of the law school's strategic plan. Perhaps no accomplishment says more about Jim and Joni's devotion to the law school than their establishment of the Mulligan, Burleson Endowed Chair of Modern Learning, a position currently held by Professor Roberto Corrada.
The contributions of Jim and, of course, his wife, Joni Burleson, have been immense in helping the law school move into the national spotlight in the area of experiential learning. Jim especially understands the power of that kind of learning, the learning that takes place when students are able to work directly with lawyers or are themselves put into the position of being a lawyer.
Throughout his busy professional and personal life, Jim has always considered family his biggest priority. And in honor and recognition of Jim's Irish father, Jim and daughter Megan recently received dual citizenship in Ireland.
Now that was a great day for the Irish.
While the luck of the Irish may have played a hand in his good fortunes, nobody can deny that Jim made his own luck with his hard work, tenacity, and devotion to family, community, and the state of Colorado. Please join us in congratulating our recipient of the Thompson G. Marsh Award for Outstanding Accomplishments, James Michael Mulligan.